Hello, this is Sumantho Day, and welcome to my lessons, SD lessons. From the picture only, you can guess that what I'm going to talk upon. Now, it's the excretory system in humans. Now, let me tell you that our body, inside this body, there will be fine cells. There will be trillions of cells. Trillions means 10 to the power of 12. 10 to the power of 12 is 1 trillion. So from 30 trillion to 100 trillion cells we have in our body. And these cells are constantly supplied with food, and there will be metabolic activities taking place in the cells. As a result of that, there will be a lot of waste which will be formed, and this waste are time to time are to be removed because they are toxic in nature, and if they are allowed to accumulate, then it will be fatal to our body. So that is what the excretory system does, and I'm going to discuss how it is happening. So excretory system in humans, to understand, we know excretion. What is excretion? The process of removing the waste formed as a result of metabolic activities. Metabolic activities means the biochemical reactions happening inside the cells. Inside the body is called excretion. So here let us discuss about the excretion. And before that, these are the excretory organs. We can see there are other excretory organs as well, but we are discussing of this which I'm showing. This is one excretory organ, the kidney. So let's see the excretory products first. Excretory products. Now, in our blood, what kind of waste are formed? Nitrogenous waste products. Nitrogenous. Nitrogenous means it has nitrogen. It has nitrogen. Three types: urea, uric acid, and ammonia. Three types of nitrogenous waste. Ammonia, very toxic. If you are allowed to accumulate in the blood for some time also, it will be fatal. So it gets converted into urea and then removed by the kidney. Urea and uric acid. So ammonia, urea, uric acid. These are the three nitrogenous waste. Is that the only waste? No, there are salts. After that, salts. Salts need to be removed too. You see, our blood, homeostasis of blood, the composition of the blood remains constant. A little extra of anything is bad, a little shortage of anything is also bad. So the composition of the blood remains constant all the time. So any extra salts, it needs to be removed. Who removes it? This skin removes it, the kidney removes it. Any extra salt, any extra water, any metabolic waste, the skin can remove it, and the kidneys can also remove it. So that has to be remembered. Another thing is, we have liver, and the liver also removes the dead cells. In one drop of blood, we have around 4 to 5 million, that means 6 zeros, 4 to 5 million red blood cells. And red blood cells, they don't survive more than 3-4 months. So constantly millions and millions of cells they are dying inside our body, and they are recycled in the body. The red cells have a pigment called hemoglobin. That hemoglobin, it has protein. That hemoglobin is recycled and converted into bile pigments. Who does it? Liver. And it has any use? Yes, it helps in digestion. We learn it in details about what bile pigments they do. You see the feces, the color of the feces is yellow because of the bile pigment which is present in the feces. And also the color of the urine is also a little bit yellowish. That is also because of the bile pigment. So we see nitrogenous waste products to be removed. Extra salts needs to be removed. Bile pigments, they are removed with the feces, with the urine. Excess of vitamins. Now, vitamins B and C, these are water soluble. So, any excess of vitamins, it has to be removed, and it gets removed mainly by the kidneys, also through the skin, also it goes out. Even carbon dioxide, CO2, and water, H2O, excess of carbon dioxide and water also gets removed by the lungs. Also, the water gets removed by the kidneys and the skin. So you see, all these needs to be removed. Now I will tell you something about the excretory system in humans. First, the kidneys. You can see the picture. I have already given the picture. Kidneys. Now, two kidneys, one here, another here. Two pair of kidneys. Where they are located? Just above the waist, on either side of the backbone. So you see this. This is the waist region, and either side of the backbone, one. Color, it is bean shaped, reddish brown, and I will try to show you what is there inside this and how it functions. But before that, let's understand there are two kidneys here. Then you can see the fluorescent green color which I am showing you. These tubes are called ureters. This purple color one which I am shown here, that is the urinary bladder, and this tube that takes the urine outside, that is called the urethra. So 1 and 2 kidneys, this fluorescent green ureter, this purple color one urinary bladder, that is the in which the urine gets stored around 300 ml, and this one, the passage, the tube that takes it outside, is the urethra. Now let me change the page. Before I change the page, one more thing. You see the red color one, a tube, that is a blood vessel. Renal artery, it carries the blood to the kidney, and there it get divided into fine capillaries, we'll see. And this blue one which I have shown you, that is the renal vein that will carry the blood back from the kidney. So that red color renal artery brings the blood which will be filtered, and then it will be filtered. After filtering, it will be carried back by the renal vein. So let me change the page and show you a picture of the kidney first, and then I will magnify and tell you how the kidneys actually function. Now, children, look at the picture of a kidney. You can see a dark region here. Now, this is the cortex region, and you will notice that I have drawn very tiny dots. I'll tell you what are these dots when I will magnify and explain you. And also you will notice another region, a little light region. This is called medulla. So this dark region is called cortex, and this lighter region is called medulla. Now there is some significance. You will find inside this kidney, you will find millions of microscopic filtering tubes that are filtering the blood. You see the blood is being carried here inside with this red color which I have shown. Actually, that's the renal artery. And you'll notice that is, it breaks into capillaries, and then it goes to the various tiny microscopic units which are called nephrons or uriniferous tubules. And this blue one, it takes out the blood. Once the blood is filtered, it goes out, and the urine will be formed by these fine tubules, and they will be collected here in this pelvic region, and through the ureter the urine will be carried to the storage bag which is called the urinary bladder, and when it is full, it is removed through the urethra. the tube that carries it outside, urethra. So what we saw in this kidney, number one, this dark region cortex, this lighter region medulla, these fine tubules or nephrons or uriniferous tubules, this one where the urine is being carried, formed and received here, renal pelvis, and it will be carried by the ureter to the urinary bladder and removed by the through the urethra. So this much you have understood, but then I have to magnify these tiny things. Nephrons, tiny tubules, very microscopic, millions in number. And this one. So this one, what are these? Let me magnify and show you and explain. Well, now you can see the picture very clearly of a nephron. Now this is this yellow snake-like structure. It is the nephron. It is a tubule, very small in size, microscopic. There are millions in one kidney. So let's see what are the various parts and how it functions. Now look at this part, which is like a cup, that is called Bowman's capsule, and you see an arteriole entering this here inside. The one that enters inside forms a capillary network that is called glomerulus. Glomerulus, plural is glomeruli, and this cup-like structure is called Bowman's capsule. The Bowman's capsule and the network glomerulus this is collectively called Malpighian body. So you see after that this snake like yellow one, this goes down like this, that, and then goes up, and then again here, and then ends here. So that which goes down, this is called the Henle's loop, and this, before that there will be a part which is called PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. Is mentioned in class 9 and 10. In the middle school it won't be mentioned. PCT or proximal convoluted tubule. And DCT, this part is called distal convoluted tubule. Now this region, you notice, you have seen the previous picture, I have shown you the kidney. Now there, this part you notice in the cortex region, that dark region, where tiny dots I showed you, those are actually nothing but these Bowman's capsule or Malpighian body. Alright, and this part which I showed you like lines there in the medulla region, actually it's the Henle's loop. Now how it functions, how it works, let's see how the urine is formed. Now first, when the blood goes here inside, it will be under pressure because this one that carries inside is thicker and the one that goes outside is thinner. As a result, pressure is built up, and inside the cup, if I show you here it filters like this, glomerular filtrate. So this is the first step of urine formation, number 1, filtration. So what is happening? Filtration is taking place here. It is called glomerular filtrate. And the next step, what will be filtered? Mainly small solutes, water, waste, it will be filtered. But then the filtrate contains many usable and important substances, so they are reabsorbed. They will be reabsorbed. So the second step is reabsorption. So now after the second step, what remains in the third step? Secretion, that is secreted here to the renal pelvis. So urea, uric acid, water, extra salt, all removed. that is secretion. And then it is stored in the kidney. From the kidney, it goes to the urinary bladder, passes into the urinary bladder, and finally is passed out. That is excretion. So, four steps you need to know in urine formation. Number one, you see here, filtration. Number two, reabsorption. Useful things are reabsorbed. Three, secretion. And four, removal of the urine from the urinary bladder through the urethra, excretion. So the four steps of formation of urine. Now, it should be also, we must know that there are some disorders in the urinary system. If you don't drink enough water, what will happen? What can happen inside these kidneys? Inside the tubule, something can happen. Kidney stones. So, what are kidney stones? Accumulation of dissolved minerals. It forms a mass. It sticks together and forms a mass. Okay. So they are formed when the urine becomes concentrated and contains more of one thing you have to know, that compound calcium oxalate and uric acid. So that forms stone. And to avoid this having stone, we need to drink a lot of water. Okay, we are supposed to drink a lot of water to avoid that. And then there is another problem which usually happens, that's the urinary tract infection. In short, we call it UTI. UTI, urinary tract infection, that happens due to a bacteria that infects, that enters through the urethra, and then it may go to the urinary bladder or go to the kidney and can cause trouble. Then you need not worry that much, because our body system, immunity system is such that usually it does not allow such things to happen. So you need not worry that it is bacteria that is may likely cause all these problems. No, cannot. Body can defend itself. So E. coli is the bacteria, is the mischievous bacteria that we think that it will enter through our urethra and go to the kidney, and then to the urethra, go to the urinary bladder and up to the ureter and to the kidney, then it will be dangerous. No, it doesn't happen like that. 1 out of million also, it usually doesn't. So need not worry. But then cleanliness, health and hygiene has to be followed, then it will be okay. But if someone has problem while passing urine, someone has that burning sensation, feels nausea, and then persistent urge to urinate, sometimes it can happen when you are not drinking enough water, it can happen. But then if it continues and your urine gets cloudy and strange smelling, it's not the normal one. Usually if you are drinking a lot of water, you see your urine is very clear, and you're drinking less water, then it looks more yellowish and thicker. So you need to control, you need to drink, and then drink water, and then make sure that your urine has the right color. But even then, after this, is any time if it has, then you can consult a doctor. There's no need to worry for that. Okay, with this, boys, I end today's class. Bye bye, children.